والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Dear brothers and sisters, dear audience, welcome to our program Real Life and Educations. Today we will carry on our subject, which is the guarantees of happy family. We all know it is very hard to manage how to be happy in our family because we've got our kids as example, and we've got the people who got the wives and people who got the different elements has to fit up as well. I will say guarantees the happy family, or guarantees to be in happy family, to make happy family. It is very wide subject. For this reason we had that part 2 where we need to get involved a lot of points or many points that we stopped on in. Therefore I'm happy to introduce my 2 consultants or 2 guests, starting from Professor Rashid Mouni. Welcome to our topic, a new one.
Thank you.
And on my left, Dr. Mohamed Belghaiti. Welcome to that topic, which is the guarantees of happy family. As we can say, number 2, part 2. Yes. We stopped on the 7th element that we had involved on last week. I will let you carry on doing it.
Yes, praise is due to Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. Peace and blessings upon our beloved Prophet, his family and companions, and our sincere greetings to our brothers and sisters who are following this program. Hopefully they will benefit from it and they will learn an interesting knowledge, inshallah. Well, when we were talking about the importance of building a family, I started to talk about some elements which are very important in building a stable family, because when we say happy family, it means stable family, which is stable, and family full of mercy and love and harmony and stability, right? To achieve or to reach that level of life, the level of happiness and stability among our families, I think we need to avoid some obstacles and some challenges which might be the cause of this destabilization of our society. The first one is when we want to build a family, we need to increase our awareness about united objectives between husband and wife. When two get married, they need to have same objectives. At least if they do not have same objectives, they have a closer vision about what do they want from getting married. So if a couple or a husband and wife got married, but they have different objectives, right? And they have maybe different projects, right? They might be living in a life which is not unstable life, right? In an unstable life. That's why we need to prepare our children and our young people to have a closer view of life, closer vision to each other, right? So this is the first point, I think. Maybe Professor Mimouni will give us more clarifications on that. So a clear objective. That's why some countries, Muslim countries, they have training sessions even before getting married for the new married people. Like they have a training sessions or they have training programs, right? With a certificate of aptitude to get married, right? So marriage, because marriage is, as we said in the previous program, is a strong covenant, ميثاق غليظ, a contract. So both of a husband and wife, they meet to accomplish a civilizational project.
And this is what was described in,
yes.
on the Sharia.
A second element is that we need to understand that in a Muslim society, there is no conflict between male and female, as the Western culture maybe wants to convince some Muslims that there is always a war between a husband and wife, and there is always a conflict between male and female.
Yeah,
in Islam,
I think because they put the on the top.
Yes.
They put the benefits on the top.
Yes.
This is the difference.
So
between us.
in a Muslim society, we have never had such problems during the Islamic civilization, right? We did not have such problems. In order to make that family is a war between a husband and wife. Who will have the authority on the others, right? In Islam, it is clear. The Holy Quran says, الرجال قوامون على النساء بما فضل الله بعضهم على بعض وبما أنفقوا من أموالهم. This قوامة, this authority, it is because the husband is a reference, as I said maybe in the previous program, a reference to his wife and his children. Then children and the wife, when they see that they have a reference in the family, in the cell of family, they will feel secure. They will have a feeling of security and stability and psychological stability.
I don't know if you agree with me. If this is what makes complementarity between the in relationship.
That's what the Holy Quran mentions when He said, "وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا يَغْشَى وَالنَّهَارِ إِذَا تَجَلَّى." As there is a complementarity between a day and night, there is a complementarity between a male and female. وَمَا خَلَقَ الذَّكَرَ وَالْأُنْثَى إِنَّ سَعْيَكُمْ لَشَتَّى. Even every one of them has its own characteristics and its own field of life, right? We cannot mix always those two fields and those specialities between husband and wife.
And their own duties.
Yes. Third obstacle is when we have an unbalanced evaluation system. If we have a wrong evaluation of a husband and a true husband, and we have a wrong evaluation of a true woman, a wife, a successful wife, right, a competent wife, right, we will always face instability inside the family. The fourth thing is that we need to understand that the objective of building a family in a Muslim society is to live in harmony, في انسجام تام, a harmony between husband and wife, between the two families. Then we have the sixth point is a lack of education. Many Muslims think that education means providing materialistic needs to our children and our family members. Actually, education doesn't mean that. It means deeper than that, more than that. Education means to prepare our children to provide a climatic, provide a stable climate where we are going to help leaders to grow, to prepare the future leaders. This education doesn't mean providing materialistic needs only. It means more than that. It means providing a secure, a stable climate to educate teachers, doctors, pilots, engineers, politicians, experts, specialists in different fields of life. This is what family means. And this is what education means, actually.
Before getting to the other points,
yes,
I've got questions to Professor Rashid Mimouni.
Yes, please.
I can resume what Dr. Blevett already said, and I can summarize what he already said. In one of the questions it will be addressed to you, which is the happy family has to be before the marriage. I mean, before, when we get the project of marriage, if I can understand what you already said, means it doesn't make sense you will have be after the marriage, but you will get ready, having a plan. Are you agree with me about these points?
Well, definitely, but I would enlarge the perspective probably by saying that what Professor Belghith mentioned when he said there must be a united objective between man and woman. All societies have made different status between man and woman because it's the cardinal, the vital relation which is going to create the family. Then jurisdictions, norms, cultural values, social traditions, all are revolving around this. The difference with Islam, Islam recognizes that necessity to make a good relation between man and woman. But he starts from the point. He recognizes...
You mean between husband and wife?
Between husband and wife, yes. But the problem, when you mentioned, is that it's not only when starting in the family. When starting family, all the processes relating from founding the family, establishing relation with spouses, has been disturbed by the changes that are operating in society. Raising age of marriage, different aspirations between men and women, new objectives of the family. Family, for example, in the traditional, it was related with the aqarib, with the relatives. Now it is more related with values of success, achievement, autonomy, concentrated in
but the husband and wife should be ready to get to, to pass all the obstacles, because we already said it is a project. When you do the project, yes, you have to plan for it, and because in any project, you will have obstacles, you will be interrupted.
Well, when you have criteria, there are basic criteria. Some are universal, like beauty, attraction, yes, social norms, homogamy between norms. Then others are specific to Islam. What it says, last show you mentioned, for example, the moral, education, religious wealth. It is universal. It may be universal. And then, but how these are now connotated now? They are changing this vision. There are other criteria added to this. What I would say I would start with one thing. Dr. Ahmed Arwa, rahimahullah, wrote a book, Islam on the Ethics of Sexes. As a doctor, rahimahullah, he mentioned the different complementarity between the sexes. He started from the biological, physiological, then he raised up to the psychological, emotional, affective relations. And he made the complementarity, the relation between man and woman. As in Islam, it is based on the moral equality between man and woman. There is moral equality that makes them, there will be rights according to the function of man and woman, rights on all levels, economic, social, affective, on rights. And then after that, he would say that according to this, the moral part is related to, not to that every person, partner would overcome his role. Then the moral is based. I would just say with it. He said, I quote him, he said, sexuality is inscribed in the nature that is chosen by God. It is related with moral ethics, moral ethics as a necessity, as a right, as a duty, It is recognized in all its dimensions. This is the well-balanced system of vision of Islam. All dimensions, biologically linked to the reproduction. We know the family now, there are the crisis in the family, Western family, is that it is not reproducing. There is not producing of children. There is a lack. Then, psychologically, it is, when he says, it's linked to desire and affection. We mentioned the ayah, mawaddatan wa rahma, last time, affection on the, on maybe
I think this is what this
love and mercy.
But it implies reciprocal duties. Alors, this is the moral dimension, he says, is controlling the that is controlling the relation between man and woman. So the relation is going to rest for a long time. He's making guarantees so that the relation is. What we are saying now, looking, observing in our society even, that the relation between man and woman in the marriage, even in the marriage, I'm not saying outside the marriage, is living tensions, difficulties, inadequacies, and sometimes breakup. And this is why we have, when we start with the first thing, between husband, to get closer, we have to mention all these aspects, attack them or to tackle them in order to succeed in our vision.
I think because what you already said, I think it is because of the most of our people get married. They didn't follow the, maybe, I'm not sure, the Islamic steps of marriage, for example, as we had in the back generations. We didn't have the same as the couples today. It may be, I'm not sure, but maybe when you go to the courts and you see the number of couples who divorce, you will find most of, I mean, if it's not all of them, but most of them, they had broke up just after the marriage, maybe 1 month or nearly 15 days, just because we don't know, but the steps of the marriage or the project of the marriage, it wasn't built up on, the right way as Islam called us to do it. I will let you carry on that.
Brother, I think, of course, from my humble experience, I think we need to correct some misunderstanding among our society regarding the meaning of happiness and success. Because when there is a difference between our vision about success, right? We will maybe mislead ourselves from the true success and the true happiness. Maybe some people think that happiness is to get all our materialistic needs, or success means...
You meant richness?
Yes, to have everything at home and to have everything provided and to have...
well, it's good sometimes you have everything at home.
Yes, yes. But I think this world is not perfect, right? We cannot have everything. Either you have righteous wife or writer's husband, and you have well-educated children, or you have money, or you have time, or you have knowledge, or you have health, right? You may be, you are healthy, you can maybe be wealthy also. This world is not perfect. We cannot have everything. But I think now we need to see what are our priorities to guarantee a happy family, right? First of all, we need to define what is success and what is happiness actually, right? The whole maybe I have mentioned in some of our previous sessions, the Holy Quran says, فَمَنْ زُحْزِحَ عَنِ النَّارِ وَأُدْخِلَ الْجَنَّةَ فَقَدْ فَازَ. The Quran defined, gave us the correct aspect of happiness, right? The one who will be saved from the hellfire on the day of resurrection is the happiest person. فَقَدْ فَازَ is the winner. And the loser is the one who will be thrown in the hellfire. قُلْ إِنَّ الْخَاسِرِينَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَهْلِيهِمْ and their family, right? If I have a family, I will be very happy if I will be going to on the day of resurrection to the paradise.
Yeah, of course.
But I want to be followed by my wife, my children, isn't it? So the Holy Quran says, قُلْ إِنَّ الْخَاسِرِينَ الَّذِينَ خَسِرُوا أَنفُسَهُمْ وَأَهْلِيهِمْ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ أَلَا ذَلِكَ هُوَ الْخُسْرَانُ الْمُبِينُ. The real losers are the one who will lose themselves and their family members when they will be thrown in the hellfire on the day of resurrection.
Means you're not just responsible for yourself, but even for your
to avoid this result, to avoid this disappointing and deceiving result, the Holy Quran says, in this world, you have to fulfill your duties. قُوا أَنفُسَكُمْ وَأَهْلِيكُمْ نَارًا وَقُودُهَا النَّاسُ وَالْحِجَارَةُ. Protect yourself and your family members from the hellfire of the day of judgment, the day of resurrection. How to protect myself and my family members from that? When I fulfill my duties towards myself, towards my family members, with a proper education, right? Because the challenges we are facing today, if you ask any father today, any mother, they will tell you that today the most dangerous obstacle our families are facing is the deviation of our children to drugs addiction, to gadgets addiction, to right, the main challenges and actually moral deviations and misleading. The biggest challenge is that.
Well, for some people, or even for some scholars, they are saying the worst factors on that is the independence or dismissed of the parents. Now all people are talking about dismissed of the parents just because they couldn't.
I don't think
they couldn't afford
I don't think it is only the fault of parents, right? There is a lack in education and instruction in our society, not only with the parents, but also with the educational institutions.
If we compare
with the role of mosque and with the civil society.
No, I meant if we compare it to our generation or back generations.
That's why I didn't finish the seventh point.
Okay, sorry.
Right. That's why I didn't finish the seventh point, which is, let me say, the effect of media on our children. The effect of media on our children. Now, even in some cartoons, our children in the youngest ages, they are watching in the TV channels, some TV channels, right? They are introducing some Western values or culture, which is the culture, for example, of a boyfriend and a girlfriend, which is an imported culture to our societies, to our Muslim society. We have our own culture and our own traditions and our own values. So this is one of the examples when we say that we are scared today of the obstacles and the challenges we are facing in educating our children, our students, right? We are scared they will deviate and we will face delinquency, a very, very deep delinquency of our children, right? And I think we have to be honest when we talk about that, right? We have to review our schooling programs, our educational programs, our media programs and sessions and movies and drama our children, our students, our teenagers are watching and following. Maybe we cannot control everything, that's right, because our children, maybe we can monitor them at home, but they can connect with the internet outside our homes, and they can connect at school, they can connect everywhere, right? It's difficult to control, that's right, but I think we can minimize these problems if we set up a very good educational programs, and if there is a complementarity between family, parents and schools and mosques and the civil society.
We already talked about the educational system last 2 weeks, I think. Yeah. The question is, I don't know if you, I didn't want to disappoint you, but I've got the question, which is, even where we were young and the kids, we had the TV, and nothing's happened to us. Professor Rashid Mimouni, I said, even with the TV, we didn't had that problem. What do you think? I'm just answering the reason why you're talking about.
I'm talking about 30 years later, or 40 years later.
Well, maybe. I return.
I know you agree with me.
No, I want to complete about one thing about spouses. I complete just slowly about. Now, parents, you were speaking about parent dismission. It is dismission. يعني انسحاب الآباء عن التربية. استقالة. That's it. When we have to say that the missions that are attributed to the parents are over their capacity. They have not been prepared for this. You were mentioning, for example, radio, television. Our parents were not prepared, but the programs were healthier, were purer than the programs that they are watching today. Yes. They are. Alors, the thing is that then the parents had maybe different roles. They are interverting their roles. Often the parents, this is they have been between them. Their roles, there are conflict roles between parents. There is conflict in sociology and in psychology. Conflict strain of roles. ضغط الأدوار of parents is creating maladjustment in family. عدم التكيف. Then a whole system of education, transmission, socialization is completely disrupted. Alors, when we see in sociology, we say there is maladjustment, عدم التكيف. Then there is a لا امتثالية, non-conformity. Which children, for example, they take from the media, from outside. We have to see that outside, the young people, we are afraid when they go to the open street, to the حي يعني on the district,
in the city.
because the open يعني as we were children, our parents were not afraid from the district because there was not delinquency. Now there is delinquency. From start, there is deviance from norms. Norms, it is whole balanced system of values, moral, ethics, social, cultural relation with parents, with others, with jiran, with the neighbors and things like that. And then there is delinquency when there is completely going out of the norms. When I say about this, we have to say now we are in what we are calling the open sky. Yani we cannot refrain channels, TV channels with different objectives to come and to present their programs. And this is, although they are living a paradox, because in the European society, in our society, there are very difficult problems. For example, there is harassment, sexual assault, even pedocriminality. That means الاعتداء على الأطفال. We see that in the but still there are those programs which are يعني, out of morals, our morals, and out of the nature which makes sexuality is according to a certain age. It's not to this. On this, we are saying that this culture of boyfriend or girlfriend and such thing, this is, we have to have a healthy education. We cannot prevent this. There are ways of parental control, advertisement, but this is within the family. But we have to counterbalance this with positive psychological programs, educative programs, and the virility of the man, the femininity of the women has to be socially controlled and educated and valorized in a proper, healthier way. And marriage is considered to be, if it is not in a crisis situation, it is going to help this to educate children properly.
There are a lot of people who are saying that what happened to our family today and destroying of our family today, the reason of that, they mentioned on 4 or 5 points. The first one, as I said, the dismissed parents. The second one is the absence of solidarities. The solidarities which was before in the large family is not today. And there is a third point, which is the absence of social connections known previously as kinship or good neighborliness. I mean, it is very important when we talk about neighbor today. Neighbor today and neighbor before, when you go back, they don't have same duties as it was. Because talking about the duties on neighbor, it is not just your neighbor, the one who is next to you. It's not about living, but it is about taking care of your children and you take care of his children. I mean, you've got these solidarities of duties. Means you have to be on time when your neighbor needs you. The other fourth one, the loneliness and the burden felt by disputes after marriage, which is people, the children will be on their own in street, and no one take care of them. I think these four, if we all agree about that, this is the basic of what happening to our family today. Some of the family has the obstacles on their and some elements which interrupt their own education or the educations of their kids.
I think we need always to remind ourselves, our audience, that the one who wants to marry a righteous wife, like Khadija, he needs to be like Abu Bakr, like Abi Bakr. Or a woman who wants to marry a perfect husband, she needs herself to be perfect also.
Of course, yes.
This is the first thing.
Well, we didn't mention that.
Yes.
That we just forget about the level of education.
Yes, yes. There should be a compatibility between a husband and wife, in addition to the criteria we have mentioned in the previous session, mentioned by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Criteria of choosing a wife or choosing a husband, and there should be a compatibility. Second thing. If you are seeking a perfect wife or a perfect husband, you will never reach that or find that. But it might happen that there is a disagreement between husband and wife or misunderstanding, right? So tafahum, right? And the role of family is to reconciliate. I prefer that more than encouraging divorce or separation, right? The Holy Quran said, يُرِيدَ إِصْلَاحًا يُوَفِّقِ اللَّهُ بَيْنَهُمَا. That means if there is a misunderstanding between a husband and wife, and we come to sit together to arrange that, if we have a sincere intention to make an arrangement and to try to reconcile both of them, we will succeed, as the Holy Quran said. But if there is no sincere intention to achieve that, of course the disagreement will become wider and wider. But we need to remind our brothers and sisters that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said about divorce: do not divorce women only for genuine reasons. The one who, because some of our young people, they think that he can marry a woman in the summer, and he will divorce in the winter, right? They think it's just easy like that. If I do not find her righteous or perfect wife, or the opposite also, if he is not a perfect husband, we just divorce in November or October. But the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us. He said, do not divorce women only for genuine reasons, for Allah doesn't like those who are tasters. الذواق لعن الله الذواقين والذواقات. Tasters who enjoy one partner for a while. الذي يذوق يريد أن يذوق لوقت مؤقت أو يتزوج لوقت مؤقت. Who wants to get married just for desire, that's all. Right? One partner for a while, then shift to another, and so on. This is a hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That means we need to understand, if we believe strongly, if actually we had the intention to get married, to invest for a permanent life, a permanent project, a civilizational project, to prepare the elite needed by our ummah, our nation, our society, leaders and scholars and experts and specialists, etc. This is a civilizational project, and for that, for this noble objective, right? Of course, we might quarrel sometimes between each other, but I think we need to ignore some mistakes between each other. Otherwise, we will not achieve this noble project at all.
Well, you have to accept some excuses, because
sure.
You can't do it. You can't every time having mistakes, or you have to get problem for it, or divorcing.
Mutual consent.
Because there are a lot of people who do that divorce just because of some mistakes. But this is a human being, and he is. He's mistaken sometimes. But what you need to do, sometimes you have to excuse. You have to take your temper low. As I said, we already talked about the which is absence of solidarities, absence of connections, and today we we need to get involved the large family, which is extensions, family of extensions, or extensions family, and the nuclear family, which is the family of the couples. If we see that as you are a sociologist, what can we conclude about that large and nuclear family?
I just want to one thing. There are persons who observed this, searchers about this, even since the same 70s in Algeria, particularly. Professor Mohammed Swidi, rahimahullah, who was a sociologist at the university.
Who's got that book of Muqaddimah fi al-Mujtama al-Jazairi.
He said he spoke about the migration of rural families to the cities. He was anticipating there were a lot of changes of this. On this happened. For example, if we take the youth, at the time it was authoritarian education. On the youth at that time, they are, according to their ages, they are constructing their personality. They are building their personality. And then they are requiring now outside reference models now, and to adapt to them, adapt to the group, and to adapt to a new subculture of the youth. It's why there is no communication between parents. We don't know what they are doing, what they are thinking sometimes. For example, Professor Rahmani Anissa, who is also a sociologist, is speaking about adolescence. Adolescent sociologists and psychologists are speaking about adolescence. They have it's a special psychology age, troubled, and is speaking about delinquency. He made a doctorate between delinquent adolescents, between responsibility and fatality. One of her conclusion is saying the town framework is creating new needs, and the new needs, increasing needs for the youth, and it is needs related with consumption. The youth is something. Then the values of the youth is completely changing. And this is why it is we are saying about it. One thing maybe if times is running, I would say one thing very, very important is about there are now on the legal point, as our society is linked with legal ties. There are difference between the referential in the family, within the family, the traditional reference. You mentioned the traditional family, for example, extended family, national, and now there are international rules that are included in our legal system, which are pervading within the United Nations based on a vision related with the gender, which is the opposition between man and woman. There are new models of family. They are accepting, for example, the family composed of the same sex, man on man and woman on woman. Then this is a challenge because it is, although we have to adapt with them, for example, the uprising of in Algeria, education, work, is the legislation is not favoring, it is equal between man and woman. But now they are introducing legislation which this is what we're calling the positive discrimination, even in the political system, for example, in the elections or something like that. But now they are trying to change the structure of the family, the values of the family, the relations within the family. And this is a challenge. We have to adapt to it. Those references.
There are a lot of obstacles. We didn't talk about it, especially when we talk about the life conditions, for example, which
definitely,
which can guide or draw the family to be destroyed. And we've got a lot of elements we didn't get involved in, just because we didn't have time. But at the end, we can resume on that, saying if we don't follow the Islamic steps on the building family, we wouldn't achieve to any goals, our purpose, or any purpose of our purpose, which is civilizations, which is getting in the way of what Holy Quran said to us to follow, etc. I will let you end up.
Yes, I think in the end, there are things which are constants, and there are things which are flexible.
That's it.
But I think regarding the international agreements, especially about family values and society values and principles, there are things we have to be firm on them, right? Because they are against our values and our traditions and our beliefs, actually, right? There are things, when we talk about some articles, for example, in the international contracts like CEDAW or whatsoever, right? I think that there are things which are constant in our societies. We cannot change them. And we have to be clear and firm on that.
And we have to be realistic,
yes,
of course.
Because they are against human nature, right? Like homosexuality and so on. We are very clear on that, and we have to be very clear on that, because in these things there is no flexibility, and these things are not negotiable at all. The Holy Quran is very clear on that, and the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, the leader of our values and the founder of our civilization, is very clear on that. So yes. If we want to develop our families in a positive way, with things which are not against our values and our constants, yes, welcome, why not, right? But if we want to introduce in our societies and our families things which are, like I have mentioned previously, about the boyfriend and girlfriend tradition or culture, right? This is clearly a deviation from the human nature, right? The Almighty Allah is the one who knows better than everyone in this universe what is good for us and what is bad for us.
And everything she's mentioned and write down on our Holy Quran, when he was talking about the family, when he was talking about the marriage, when he was talking about the ethics, when he was talking about the value of nations. The value of nations is based on the very correct way of life, which is even a human being can be, he can't be not realistic on that, because the reality showed to him that if you don't follow that, you will have another issues to do, or another problem to have, another obstacles.
Now we are facing sexual diseases and problems and social problems and challenges, and we know there are the consequences and the results of deviation from human nature, right?
Well,
Professor Alexis Carrel, who was awarded by a Nobel Prize in Physiology, said in his book The Man This Unknown, and he is a lecturer in the universities of Lyon in France and University of New York. He said that one of our biggest mistakes in our Western civilization, when we made equal male and female in everything, when we made no difference between, we did not respect the characteristic of woman and a female, and we did not respect the characteristics of a male, man, in some different specialities of life, right? We are facing now very big problems. And he has a very famous sentence, Professor Alexis Carrel. He said, "Inna kulla," I read the text in Arabic especially, the book is well known, is famous, right? The Man This Unknown, Insan Dalik al-Majhul, L'Homme C'est Inconnu. I have a French version and the Arab version. He said, Inna kulla khaliyatin, every cell of a woman, Inna kulla khaliyatin min khalaya al-mar'a, تنطق بأنها أنثى, speaks that she is a female.
I will end up with
Yes.
end up with
This is, I've got two books, for example,
contract,
الأسرة
yes.
القدوة,
Yes.
the family model, or ميثاق الأسرة في الإسلام.
Yes.
Those are ideals we were speaking last time of. The problem we tackled today is how those ideals from the Quran, from the Hadith,
Yes.
from the structure of the family building, from our traditional family, how to make the transition with the new challenges of the family today.
Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks to both of you. Even this wide subject, still wide subject, because we're talking about nations, families and nations,
Yes.
and no one can say the opposite. I will say to our audiences, we all know the family has to be based on ethics, which will be our next topic, inshallah, for next week. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Salam.
عليكم السلام.